Good morning. This is Mike Houston with your Friday morning weather hazard briefing for southeast Idaho. Looking at the key points for this forecast period, we have lingering moisture and instability up along the Montana border, which will help to support some isolated to scattered thunderstorm activity in that region today and into the weekend. Otherwise, we should see mostly dry and slightly warmer conditions across the region through Monday. Looking at satellite imagery early this morning, we did have some activity here in central Idaho as a result of a low pressure system that was scooting east along the Canadian border that we told you about yesterday. That is beginning to wane here this morning, and we're giving way to mostly clear skies across the region. Looking at our weather risk outlook matrix of doom, I don't have much in the way of any impacts through the 5-day period. However, I do indicate some slight chance of showers and thunderstorms, mainly up along the Montana-Wyoming border today, and then dwindling as we work our way into the weekend and particularly early next week. We'll show you why here in a minute as we look at our forecast charts. Here's the storm track for today. Here's that low pressure system I was telling you about yesterday. It is still scooting east along the Montana border. And we do have a southwest flow across the region today. With that proximity of that low and some lingering moisture and instability, we should see some thunderstorm activity fairly widespread here across Montana, but you can see some avenues extending south and westward into Idaho. One particular area, basically from Salmon over to Bozeman. Another region, mainly from Mackay up to Dillon, and a third, maybe weaker region extending from Inkom up to Jackson, maybe the most primary areas for some thunderstorm activity today. Advancing the storm track to Saturday, that low pressure system now well off to our east, high pressure spreading westward into Arizona. And yes, you can look upstream here and see the next low pressure system working through the northeast Pacific towards the northwest coast. Across southeast Idaho, we have a southwest flow across the region. No real identifiable features to help trigger thunderstorm activity, but we do still have some lingering moisture and instability up here along the southwest Montana border. And in fact, the models are indicating that there's a fairly good chance to see some thunderstorm activity here across southwest Montana into northwest Wyoming, and just a smattering of potential activity extending back into Idaho. Really nothing of note here. The only area that I might be watching here would be in this Lewiston to Bozeman line, which will be clipping a Salmon area here on Saturday. That may potentially produce some thunderstorm activity. Otherwise, we should be mostly dry. Advancing the storm track to Sunday, that low-pressure system off the northwest coast now swinging up into towards western Canada, and then that high-pressure system still working east across Arizona. I got a little cute here. That's a little smaller now. That's because the low-pressure system is beating down the high-pressure ridge. So we don't have as much ridginess across the region. That'll probably open the door to some sort of thunderstorm activity still up here along the Montana and Wyoming border. And in fact, our probability of precipitation or chance of precipitation is highlighting that general region here with some low-end probability of thunderstorm activity on Sunday afternoon. Advancing the storm track now to Tuesday. Jumped ahead a couple days here. That low pressure system now spreading inland across western Canada. The high pressure ridge really getting beat down even further here to the south. So that'll allow some westerly flow to work through Idaho. Models right now are showing us relatively dry, and I would have thunk under a passing trough that we might see some wind down here in southeast Idaho, but the models aren't showing any of that either. So I'm scratching my head over that. We'll wait and see how that pans out as the system gets closer to us. And I want to jump a little further ahead here, working out to Wednesday, especially later in the weeks, Thursday and Friday. As that low-pressure system works further east through Canada, this high-pressure ridge is going to expand across the west coast and then work inland through the latter half of next week. So I would expect not so much in the way of precipitation and warming temperatures. Once again, the models are giving me some head-scratching indications of maybe cooler temperatures on one model, which I didn't really understand. And so we'll just leave it at that. I think I'll go with warmer and drier as we work into the latter half of next week. Okay, looking at the summary, we have some lingering moisture and instability up across southwest Montana and along the Wyoming border today. Might help to support some isolated to scattered thunderstorm activity in those regions. Otherwise, we're looking at mostly dry and slightly warmer conditions across the area as we work our way through the weekend and to Monday. That's all I had for you here this morning. If you had any comments, questions, or concerns, you can reach out to us on any one of the avenues listed here on the screen. Have a good weekend. Thank you.